Everyone, so today we're gonna learn about cell as the basic structural and functional unit of all organisms. So we have learning competency with code, that is, to explain why the cell is considered the basic structural and functional unit of all organisms. So let's have a review or background information about the cell. So you have learned that in our previous lesson. So cell is the smallest and basic form of life. So this is the most basic form of life, defined as the most basic structural and functional unit of all organisms, including humans, animals, plants, and bacteria. Cells carry on many functions to support life. All the metabolic activities of the life, like respiration, digestion, excretion, etc., occur at the cellular level. So an organism is made up of cells. So when we define organism, that is, all living things, whether made up of one celled organism, that is unicellular like bacteria, or many cells, multicellular like us humans. So let's have a very short review. Which level of biological organization consists of different organs that are grouped together to perform similar or related functions? A. Organ, B. Organ system, C. Organism, or D. Tissues. What do you think? Okay, so let's have the answer. That is an organ system. It is a group of organs that function together. So let's have organs and organ system. Mouth, esophagus, stomach, and intestines are the organs that belong to the digestive system. On the other hand, the circulatory system is made up of organs such as heart, arteries, veins, and capillaries. Leaves, buds, stems, and flowers make up the shoot system of a plant and function as a production center to a plant. Have you ever asked yourself what makes you up and the other organisms around you? I guess you have asked it to yourself. Because you are an organism, just like the plants and animals. So in this picture you have seen a boy, a plant, and what's this? An animal. Okay, so here in the picture you can see the model of a human torso. Question: what parts of the human body do you see? Okay, so here the human body is made up of varying parts. To which organ systems do these parts belong? Okay, so the following are the skeletal system, muscular system, circulatory system, respiratory system, digestive system, and nervous system. So that is referred to the picture of the human torso a while ago. This. Okay, so you can see here another picture. That is some of the organ systems in our body. Okay, so we have the bones. You can see the bones, the muscles, and the nerves, right? Okay. So can you identify this organ system? As you can see, there are bones and there are nerves. So those are skeletal and respiratory system. So the circulatory system is one of the organ systems that make up an organism. It is made up of heart, blood vessels, and blood. Heart is about the size of your fist. It pumps and circulates blood to the different parts of the body through the blood vessels. So certain diseases affect the heart and cause it to function improperly. Okay, so imagine a human heart. So I know that all of you have seen a human heart. Okay, so what do you think are the parts of the human heart? Okay, so the human heart is composed of muscles. That is, there are muscles that is composed of arteries, blood vessels, and veins. What do you think will happen to the heart if any of these parts were injured or diseased? Okay, so the answer for that is an injury to any parts of the heart is an injury itself. So this means that the functioning of the heart will be affected negatively in the same way that its parts suffer. So if these parts of the heart were injured or diseased, what do you think will happen to the organism? Okay, so there will be an injury to the parts of the heart affects an organism. So the excretory system is another organ system that makes up an organism. It is made up of different organs that help the body eliminate metabolic wastes and maintain internal balance. So these organs include a pair of kidneys. So here in figure 5, you can see the model of a human kidney. So what shape does it look like? So I know that you can describe this as a bean shape. So the kidneys are made up of even smaller parts. Some parts eliminate waste that are no longer needed by the body. The other parts function in the reabsorption of water and nutrients. Like the heart, certain diseases also affect the kidneys and their functions. So what parts of the human kidney do you see? So like heart, the kidneys are made up of muscles and blood vessels. What do you think will happen to the kidneys if any of these parts were injured or diseased? Okay, so an injury to any parts of kidneys is the injury of the entire kidney. The functioning of the kidneys will be affected negatively in the same way that its parts suffer. If these parts of the kidneys were injured or diseased, what do you think will happen to the organism? Okay, so the answer will be an injury to any parts of the kidneys affects the whole organism. Okay, so what procedure can a medical doctor do to correct an injury to these organs? So patient treatments ranges from taking medicines if the injury for kidney is not really severe, but you are going to have surgeries to correct the parts of the organs if any part of the kidney is damaged. So organs are made of tissues. The heart, kidneys, and the parts that make them up are made of tissues. So figure 6 here shows a picture of a muscle tissue. So this tissue is made up of cells. So the basic units of structure and function in organisms. So you can see here the muscle tissues. What do you think will happen to the organs if these tissues were injured or diseased? Okay, so that will happen to have an injury to the tissues of the organ is an injury of the organ. If these tissues were injured or diseased, what do you think will happen to the organ system? Okay, so the answer for that is organ systems will suffer too. If these tissues were injured or diseased, what do you think will happen to the organism? Okay, so the organism will also suffer. For example, even a small piece of tissue of the organism is cut, it can still be affected. So anything that happens to the tissues will reflect the bigger parts they make up. Because all the parts of our body, all the organ systems are interconnected with each other and they are working with each other. So if there were damage, it will reflect to the bigger parts that they make up. So plants are also made up of organ systems, the root and shoot system. So the root system absorbs water and nutrients. The shoot system moves them to different parts of the plant. So as you can see here in the figure 7, an orchid showing the shoot and the root system. In what ways are the functions of the organ systems of plants similar to those of animals? So like the organ system of animals, the plant organ systems have the parts that also functions together. So in what ways are they different? Okay, so unlike animals, plants have two organ systems, and these are the root and the shoot system. On the other hand, animals have complex organ systems with different roles and functions which work directly with the other organ system. So that is all for today. Thanks for watching and listening.